Which so much has been said here about obviously the Springboks kicking, against Ireland. As a kicker, what's the emotional state when you're up there lining up a kick in a game of that magnitude? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, Shim, I think, you as a hooker as well, I think it's quite a similar pressure. Once you miss one or two, it definitely does play on your mind. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Mannie's kicking as well in the press, at every press conference that they go to. So it's really hard to try to put it out of your mind. The only thing you can do is go to the practice field and go through your routine that you're going to be doing on the field, and make sure you're putting the hours in, so that when you do go onto the field, it's almost second nature, and you can just back that you've done the work, and hopefully it goes over, So I think that's all you can expect from a kicker, that he puts in the time and the effort to practice, and then on the field, you just hope that his nerves can handle it, and he goes through the same routine like on the practice field.
But how, because I think a lot of people look at Mannie and then they say, well, if he's got a bad day in terms of the kicking, then they're like, no, he shouldn't be in the team. But I kind of feel in terms of his game as a fly-half, he's actually been playing really well. And yes, he's missed some kicks at goal, but just your view on Mannie as the fly-half in terms of the way that he controls the game.
No, I thought he's been outstanding, and I really believe that our attack is the best it's been in the last almost 10 years. I can't remember the Springboks attacking so nicely.
Since your day.
Since your day, Butchie. Just say since your day.
Since your day.
When did we finish? So 12 years. No, I really don't recall it being so good. We got the muscle. We are a physical team, but we do have a bit of flair now as well. Chezin's try that we scored, they were all expecting our big runners in the middle, and it came out the back to Mannie, and I think he's been running the show really, really well. And another aspect of his game that everyone does overlook has been his line kicking for me. I think his line kicking, especially from penalties, has been outstanding. You want the fly-half to try get it as close to the 5-yard line as you can, and he almost puts it there wherever the penalty is. I think that's been a real underrated part of his play. Has been his line kicking. So I think it's a huge pity that he hasn't been kicking his goal, or Damien hasn't been kicking the goals, or Faf. If we had another kicker that was solid and getting that 80-85%, everything would be hunky dory. Because I really do think it's unfair that he's playing so well, and it's just the goal kicking that's unfortunately letting him down, and what he's being judged on at the moment.
Butchie, just we weren't. I certainly won't be able to pick up the technical stuff. So against New Zealand at Twickenham, he gets 100%, and then against France, obviously, it doesn't go his way. Have you picked up anything technically that you can say, look, if you were the kicking coach or someone, say, listen, yeah, this is what needs to be done better to any of our kickers?
I think with Mannie, I would love to just see him try something. I just feel that his ball at the moment is too high, and also he's placing it too upright. It's not often that you'll see a goal kicker kick the ball higher than the poles are, and quite a few of his kicks do go that high.
His cooks, okay.
His cooks, yeah. Yeah.
I said to myself, I can't mess up one word in this interview because Jean's just going to laugh.
Yeah. No, he's the master at that.
I've got it out the way at least. Shimmy, I would like to see him just try that, like get his ball a little bit lower. There's nothing wrong with his strike, his run up, everything else is spot on, and I think it's just maybe one or two little tweaks, and he'll be a great goal kicker. So. I think also the time clock seems to be worrying him as well. Often it looks to me from the TV angle that he's often looking to see how much time he's got left on the time clock. So maybe that's something he also can.
Then he almost gets rushed.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, Butch. I received a message from another guy that played, Tian Snyman. He played under 19, it's under 19. He was kind of a school prodigy coming through.
Clay Nas.
Yeah. And he was a Yeah, Afis. Yeah, he was and he was a brilliant goal kicker. And he sent me a message saying exactly the same thing. He's saying, Mannie just needs to get the ball a little bit closer to the ground. And he used the analogy of golf as well. When you tee it up with your driver, your margin for error is bigger. Whereas, you just go a 6-iron or a 7-iron closer to the ground or from the ground, and your margin for error is so much less. You might not kick it that far, but at least it won't be such a big difference in terms of where you're kicking it. And don't comment about my golf.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
We do know that it sprays everywhere.
How's your training for the Cape Epic going?
Not well, but I think my partner's going worse.
Yeah, I know. His partner's John Smith. He just has to push John up the hills the whole time, I reckon. Finish is good for you guys, eh?
No, the downhill finish, yeah.
The downhill finish. Maybe.
Yeah, but John, it's interesting that you got that message because, I do feel that, that's the one thing that I did pick up. First of all, was we remember that in the URC last year when they went through the semi-final. You can remember his last kick. I mean, it was marginal. It was pretty hard to tell if it had gone over or not because it had actually gone higher than the pole. So, for me, if he could get it a bit lower, I really think it would help him a lot.
And then, Butch, maybe in terms of 100 Pollard back in the squad. Again, he's part of your squad as a World Cup winning fly-off. He's got the experience. He's done it before. He's been able to kick under pressure, but obviously hasn't played a lot of rugby in the last couple of months. Just your view on that. Do you think there's a possibility that they could use both of them in the same 23?
Yeah, but I think the other option would be to play Andre at number 12. I just think it's a real tough one, and I think our number 12s at the moment, Andre and Damien, both give us so much go forward at that number 12 position. I don't think Andre will be able to offer us the same go forward as those two would. But in saying that, obviously it would sort out our goal kicking. Hopefully, we all expecting Andre to come up on there. Like we all know, he hasn't played a lot of rugby in the last year. I think he's only played 40 minutes in the last couple of months. So for him to come back onto the field and get all his kicks, play well, it's quite a bit of pressure on him as well. But we do know that he's got the experience. So who knows? Maybe that would carry him through. So it's a real tough call. I think this weekend might help us with that call. I'm sure he'll get a start against Tonga and then we can go from there. But I really do feel sorry for Mannie. Going back to our World Cup, we were really fortunate that we had Monty at fullback kicking for us. So there was no pressure on someone like myself at playing at fly-off. All I could do was worry about the way we played and so on. And we knew that Monty would get all the kicks.
What was your kick percentage, Butch?
101%, Shim.
I thought you'd say that. Which, what's impressed you about this World Cup? Let me say, which players impressed you? Doesn't have to be a Springbok.
No, I think I've been impressed by the minnows. I think someone like Chile and Uruguay have been the two teams for me that have been really impressive. And then, of course, Fiji as well, which everyone was really expecting coming into the World Cup. I think when they didn't beat Wales, everyone was pretty disappointed. But I think the way Wales played this last weekend against a poor Australian team, it must be said, it just shows how good that actual Fijian game against him was. So for me, the team has been Fiji so far, but I've also loved watching Chile and Uruguay. So yeah, individually, I think a lot of guys are standing up and putting their names in the hat there for player of the tournament. So it's going to be interesting. I think playoff time will.
We need names, Butch. We need names.
Give us a name. Give us a player.
You'd be very, very general. We need a player.
I don't know. I don't think he had the best game on the weekend. I think for me, the player so far of the tournament has been Bundy Aki. I think especially this last weekend, he really played well and has really given Ireland that go forward and that little bit of physicality.